I'm so excited about this session on content creation for ABM, and I'm really excited that everybody is here. So with that, I will get started. Wow, we've got somebody from Germany and England, all over the world. It's a global event. Very cool. All right, so let's get going. Let me just introduce myself. So my name is Stephanie Fisher. I'm the creative director at Mojo Media Labs. I've got my Mojo shirt on today, so I'm representing. The sessions so far today have been really great. One of the things that I wanted to ask you guys to get started is what is the last thing that you purchased that you purchased it because of an ad or some kind of marketing material, something targeted at you that you're like, oh, I need this. I've got to get it right away. So in the chat, let me know what's the last thing you bought. It could be B2B, B2C, something for work, a product, a technology, a piece of technology. Okay, we've got roller skates, a hammock, a dress. All right, so I will tell you mine. Actually, this is my daughter bought it. I'm just enjoying it today. Mudwater. Has anybody gotten like bombarded with Mudwater ads on TikTok? That's like, I'm getting them all of the time. Like they know me, they know my daughter. Anyway, she finally ended up buying this. It's like a coffee alternative. So gorgeous marketing. This is like a whole booklet on how to make Mudwater. It's basically powdered hot chocolate coffee chai. So okay, somebody is saying rock on, that's my agency client. No way. So brilliant marketing. I will just say, like, this, it's brilliant. It actually tastes pretty good too. Anyway, that's like the latest thing that I have bought, or my daughter actually bought it just to try it out. So it's amazing how you know, this product is not for everyone, right? It's definitely for a certain type of person, and I was like right in the demographic. So they got me, hooked me, and now yeah, we bought it. Okay, so what are we going to talk about today? We're not going to talk about Mudwater. We are going to talk about content though. So on the agenda for today, we've got, we're going to go over just a few ABM approaches. We're going to talk about a lot of different types of content. The content is basically nothing that I'm going to say today is brand new to you. If you are in marketing, if you're producing content, there's not one piece of content that you're going to say, this is only going to be seen in an ABM campaign, right? Like this is content that you're creating now is probably able to, you're going to be able to use that for your ABM program. You need a solid content foundation that has to, you have to have a lot of different types of content. But I'm really glad that this session came, towards the end of the day, because you really have to build that technology engine. You've got to build a solid ABM program before you can really even start thinking about what kind of content you're going to create. So I think this comes at a perfect time of the day where you've already been talking, or you've been listening to, how to build your strategy, how to use intent data, how to use, all of these things that are going into building alignment across your agency. All of those things are, very key to building up your ABM program. And then the fun stuff, is getting to create all of the personalized content that is going to be targeted to your accounts. Okay, I have to say this content, Jenny is saying that she's with the agency who handles Mudwater if anyone needs a growth marketing partner. That's awesome. Okay, I can't believe that. We have someone from Mudwater here. I feel so honored. All right, so let's start with ABM approaches. You guys have probably seen this already today. The 3 ABM approaches that you're probably familiar with is, one-to-one. A one-to-one campaign for one target account, kind of a purist ABM approach. This is, a campaign that is targeted to one high value account that you're going to create extremely personalized one-to-one content for them. A one-to-few approach. So this is more of that invite only mindset. You might have like a handful of 20 like accounts that you're going to go after. And then there's the one-to-one, or sorry, the one-to-many. So you're going to have a group of hundreds to maybe 1,000 accounts and build your program around one-to-many. This could be like maybe a whole vertical that that you want to go after. And so those are the three different kinds of ABM approaches. What are some of the content tactics that we can use within those approaches, within any kind of campaign, whether it's one-to-one, one-to-many? We're going to go through some of the content tactics. Now, these are just some that we've been using ourselves, some content tactics that we're familiar with. So I have some examples along the way. One of the things that no matter what you do, you'll want to make sure you have content for every stage of your buyer's journey. The awareness content, consideration content, decision stage content for your target accounts. I sat in on Keith Bateman's session earlier from Sales Intel. He really goes through like the buyer's journey, talks about the exercise of auditing your content, mapping your content to the buyer's journey. Is a really good, that was a good session. One of the sections of his talk was about that buyer's journey and mapping out your content. So it's a really good exercise to do with the content that you have. Go through and make sure that you're mapping it out and that you have the content that you need to speak to your target accounts at every stage of the journey. So let's dive into it. Just to get started, targeted ads are kind of this is what people most associate with ABM, the content tactics of the LinkedIn ads, Google response ads. You're going to be running ads on Terminus or 6 Sense. So these are really the targeted ads that that you're probably most familiar with when you think of ABM. A lot of our clients, when they get started, they're just thinking mostly of the targeted ad side of their ABM program. So I just have some examples here of a client that we work with where they were going after, this was kind of a one-to-many campaign, and really, going after a particular type of audience or a particular type of vertical that they work within an already pretty niche product, but they just were targeting the people who are working on a certain kind of meeting that they wanted to engage with. So when you're thinking about how to put together your ads, think about the message in your ads. What do you want your target accounts to know? How can you communicate that message succinctly? These ads, there's just most of, especially with the Google display ads, there's not a lot of room to even, to put a message, to write a message. So you're very limited with the number of words or characters that you're using. Of course, you've got other types of ads too that you can do, not just the Google responsive ads or display ads. But do you have enough ad content as well to display lots of different messages, at least 8 separate ads to the same audience? It takes a lot of repetition, as you've got to really get in front of people multiple times and really testing out different variations too. So then, the click really becomes our engagement data point. So it's, obviously less about getting leads or converting leads. We're really driving engagement, and we want to see people engaging with our ads, getting on our website, starting to engage with our content in other ways too. So targeted ads. Podcasts. So podcasts they're a really great way to build a one-to-one or a one-to-many campaign. And I put a couple of examples here from Mojo. we've been doing a lot of work around podcasts, and the fun part of this is really building your podcast around interviewing your target accounts. So if you'd be really surprised how people want to be on your podcast. It can be a brand new podcast, and you can have no audience at all, and people will say yes. You will be so surprised. People will say yes just to have the chance to get on a podcast and talk about their product or themselves, their personal journey. So it's a great way to develop relationships with your target accounts in a way that is non-threatening, right? It's like, hey, we just want to learn from you. We want to hear your story. We'd love for you to tell us about your journey. So with Nicole's podcast, she's inviting business leaders on to talk about how they're growing their B2B business. Well, we are a growth marketing company, right? We are a B2B growth agency, and we are talking to, businesses about how to grow your B2B business. So it's very much, what we're doing and who we want to be targeting, right? Creating content to appeal to the rest of your target account list, right? So if you are targeting or if you're interviewing people who you want to develop a relationship with in your target account list, that content is going to naturally kind of appeal to like-minded folks and in your ICP. So really create that content that appeals to the rest of your target account list. Position your brand as a peer to your target accounts, right? So again, it's not a sales interaction. It's not, it's very much educational, it's relationship building, and it's, positioning your brand as a peer to your target account. Podcasts become the fuel for so much of your content engine, right? So every podcast episode can be repurposed in 100 different ways, right? So really, a podcast can do so much of the work of just creating so much content that it's a really foundational piece, and it is definitely hard to get. It could be hard to get people to buy into, starting a podcast. It might seem like a really hard ask and a lot of work, and it can be a lot of work, but it can also be less work if you use it in the right way, right? If you're using it in a smart way to really build out a lot of your other content, it's great. And then it's, again, for that ABM approach, if you're really targeting, if you're using it to engage with your target accounts, it can be very powerful. Okay, video content. Of course, video is the most rapidly growing type of content. It's everywhere. So how can we use video in our ABM campaigns? Well, there's a lot of ways to use video. One of the ways is just through a very personalized approach. In sales, I see a lot of video being used in the sales process to reach out to people, and that it can be very effective if you are reaching out to people through a short little video to just introduce yourself. Video walkthroughs of your product. You can do a very unique video for a product walkthrough for your target account. Maybe you do a super, one-to-one type video around how your product or your service can solve a problem for that, a single account. If you're doing a one-to-one campaign, if it's a one-to-many, you might have, a group of accounts where you can speak in more general terms and do a video that applies to multiple accounts. Video can be used too for, just inviting people to a private event or any kind of an invite or ask. Video is a little, you're going to get more engagement from video than just an email, a plain email or something like that. So the example I have here is something that we did for what was it? Fix Your Site. So we did these website audits, and I'll talk about audits here in a second, actually. But we had like a workshop where we invited people to submit their website. We did a live audit, kind of a live teardown of about 5 different websites. And then we followed up with, I think Mason, the very first time we did this, he followed up with every attendee and did like a personalized video and landing page for everyone who attended. And then I think by the time we did the 4th one, he just said he would pick 25 random people to do the audit for. So yeah, after, we did about 4 different versions of the Fix Your Site workshop, he had picked just a few people to do the audit for. But anyway, he would run through and do, a homepage review video, a technical audit review, and put these videos on a personalized landing page for each of these attendees. And it was really just a great way to, we had a lot of people from our target account list attendees. And so it was just a really nice high touch type of outreach to them. Okay, case studies. Everybody knows case studies are super important piece of content to have, regardless what you're doing, whether it's inbound or ABM. But case studies are super effective for the entire funnel. So your consideration and decision stages. Cold targeted awareness toward accounts in the sales process for pipeline acceleration, and then just expansion within existing customer base. Your case study is going to be a really key piece of content. Intentionally pick the case studies that you create to align with your target accounts, and show people someone that's similar to them. What kind of results have you gotten for someone who is like them? And the example I have here is just for a client where we did some sales enablement for them. They were putting together case studies to give to their high priority clients in order to enable them to sell their product even better. So that was a really great use of a case study where it was super personalized and actually created that content for their clients to use. Blog content. Okay, anybody heard of blogs? Yes. Okay, blogs can be used for, obviously they are great for inbound, but there are, applications for ABM. So I have an example here of kind of a pillar page where we put together a pillar page on ABM. Surprise, surprise, right? So like every blog that we had ever written about ABM, we ended up putting together this gigantic resource page, and all of those blogs kind of link into that. But there's also some other ways to use blog content to really enable your sales reps, right? What are the things that they need to send out to the target accounts that's going to really help them do their job? What are some logical reasons for people to opt in, right? We need people to opt into our content. And then creating content binging opportunities. Once those target accounts are on the website, what else are they going to look into? How are they going to spend even more time on our website engaging in content? So again, the main marketing metric for ABM is engagement. So the blog is very important to create the most engaging kind of content that really speaks to our target accounts. It is really solving their problems, educating them, and keeping them engaged, moving them down the funnel. All right, live streamed workshops. We aren't calling them webinars anymore. That's a live streamed workshop. Live events is the name of the game. So here's an example of one that we did recently, ABM strategy you can steal. And it was a live stream workshop put on by Mojo and Sales Intel. So these workshops are specifically designed around those topics that your target accounts are interested in. They're publicly accessible. Anybody can, join or register, but those accounts don't feel targeted. Kind of like ABM-A-THON as well. We love the live event. We love the workshops. These kinds of events can create those opportunities to specifically target known accounts, engage with folks who aren't even on your target account list, and then creating just more opportunity for one-to-one engagement, following up with folks after they've registered or after they've attended. Another great session that kind of relates to this that I was in earlier was it was the what to send, when to send, and how to nail it. They were talking about, I think it was a Sendoso session, but they were talking about how to create a personalized customer journey. And they were talking about live events as part of that. And that was a really good session as well. Just shout out to them. Audits and reports. Okay, so this is, again, I was talking about this earlier in the video, for the video slide, but audits and reports are super powerful because you can, it's a way for you to deliver value to your target accounts and really creating that personalized audit or report. It's just that it's an opportunity to really kind of move the account into more of the sales conversation. So like I said, with these particular audits, we have the audit information, we have CTAs to talk to a salesperson. It's just a great way to really keep that conversation going and try to move your accounts closer into down the pipeline. Advisable following a workshop, like I said, after your live event, what's an offer that you can give people to keep engaging, and then outline the problem that the account is individually struggling with, and show exactly how your company can overcome this struggle. So for example, with the website audit, it was all about, showing our expertise. Hey, these are the things that you're doing well. These are the opportunities to fix your website or to add more marketing opportunities to, like conversion points or whatever it is that's going to help them capture more leads on their website or convert more views in their on their website. So that was for our particular audit what we did. And then how exactly can your company and your services help them to solve this problem that you're pointing out. Private events. Okay, private events are, I know during COVID, private events have kind of, it's hard to do, but they're coming back, and they're a really great opportunity to do like a one to few type of engagement. It's a private event can be a very intimate setting where you can get to know your target accounts, the folks that are a part of your target accounts. You can get to know them, collaborate with them, have some fun, again, build that relationship. So virtual happy hours, invite only educational events, networking events. The example we have here is an event that Mason did with Terminus about ABM. It's like ABM educational event in Indianapolis, I believe. So he was a speaker and got to really, talk to some folks that would definitely be either, if they weren't on our target account list, they would definitely be an ICP fit. So ABM is about creating engagement with specific accounts. Private events are a great way to create that engagement, a really high value way to show the folks that you want to be working with, what you're all about as a brand, what you can bring to the table, and just really start to build that brand affinity. Okay, social media, LinkedIn, obviously a very important tactic in your content toolkit. So for like a one-to-many or a one-to-one account, what can we do on social media? Or primarily LinkedIn is where we find a lot of value for us at Mojo, and for many of our clients, we kind of stick to LinkedIn. Intentionally create content on social that appeals to your target accounts. This goes for any kind of content that you're creating. Start building your connections with individuals in your target accounts here on LinkedIn. They will become a follower, they'll start seeing your content, and don't forget about the power of personal brands. We've been talking about this a lot at Mojo, and just empowering your team to build up their personal brand, to start engaging with target accounts, because people want to engage with other people, and that's probably the best way to really humanize your brand, and then to reach out to people on that personal level. They'll start the folks that you want to start working with will see you as a valued resource, someone they can go to for help. Stay in their feed more often. So LinkedIn is a fantastic place to be, sharing your content as well, of course. Okay, of course, there's more contents. That is not all, but wait, there's more. We haven't even talked about sales enablement, sales sequences, playbooks, one-sheeters, direct mail, free trials and demos, product and service documentation. So the documentation that is about your products and your services. Guides, free guides, reports. I have, it's no longer the ebook, right? It's no longer the webinar, it's the workshop. It's not the ebook, it's the guide. And checklists, limited time offers, exclusive offers. It's always good to build in scarcity or exclusivity if you can, to gain attention, really, for any kind of content type that you are creating. If you can build in that scarcity and exclusivity, that's always good. And this is just a little bonus. I've been talking about just little tweaks in how you talk about your content. This is not necessarily ABM specific. I got this from Allison, actually. She had attended, oh man, I don't know if she actually attended something that Jay Schwedelson had shared, but his company processes email marketing data. And so he was just posting some insights from their email campaigns. And so the content's not changing. It's just that people are getting tired of certain things. They're tired of the ebook, the webinar, the white paper. It's just overdone, right? So it's right, exactly, Tanya. It's all about the positioning, a free guide, a free report, a live event, those things, these things are just maybe even just fresher language. It could be that these words are just maybe old fashioned, or they just sound boring or dry, versus something that's maybe a little more high value. So just something to help your emails do better. Okay, example content strategy. Yeah, no problem. Thanks, Sarah. What are some, okay, so I have an example content strategy that's a 5-phase content strategy. Obviously, you can do a million different things with this content, but how could you put it all together into, a campaign? So here we go. And this comes directly from something we've done at Mojo. So if this looks familiar, it's because we've done it. We're sharing it with you. Okay, so what do you need for your setup? First of all, in the note here, who's going to be the face of your campaign? So this particular campaign, you do kind of need a face or like a host, someone who can be the face of the campaign. And of course, there are multiple people working behind the scenes. But in this case, you need a face that can help drive the campaign. You'll need a target account list. You'll need podcast distribution tools. So a podcast is a big part of this particular setup. At least one case study. So if you can put one case study together, and if you can host a workshop, and you can create landing pages, and you can be on LinkedIn, you can do this. So what do you need for phase one? So for phase one, you're going to start connecting with individuals on your target account list. You're going to start posting content that's relevant to your target accounts, whether that's on LinkedIn or whatever your platform is. I think for this one in particular, this is a LinkedIn kind of campaign. So start inviting your target accounts onto a podcast. Reach out to them personally through email, through LinkedIn. Start inviting your target accounts onto a podcast. Maybe you don't even know. Maybe you're not ready to start podcasting. Just get them on the schedule and you'll figure it out. Start sharing your podcast on LinkedIn. That's, number one. Build that continual flywheel of connecting with your target accounts, inviting them onto your podcast, and then sharing the content from your episodes. So, once you have got enough, once you have, some episodes under your belt, start sharing that, and then you're going to get more people to sign up. And yeah, I want to be on your podcast too. So phase one, we're building content, right? We're building that content. We're connecting with target accounts, and we're just creating those that podcast content that's going to really appeal to your target accounts. I had a note. But yeah, the goal is one-to-one customer research and one-to-many awareness. So phase two, we're driving awareness and engagement within our account list. During this second phase, we're going to identify and create a case study that's highly relevant to our target accounts. We're going to run those ads against our target account list in LinkedIn, driving them to the case study. We want to have, at least enough ad variations that our list can be served 3 different creatives, 3 variations on the content. So that's a total of 9 ads. And then we're going to ensure that the case study directly addresses the problems that you've identified in your customer research. phase 3. Okay, we have our case study. We're getting people to engage with that. Now we're going to turn the case study into a live stream workshop. So it's all about repurposing content, making that content into different formats that people are going to enjoy. Not everybody likes a case study. Not everybody wants to download a PDF. Maybe they want to see it in action. Maybe they like video. There's just multiple ways to use one piece of content so that everybody can engage with it in the way they like. So we're going to turn that case study into a workshop, dive into more details with it. Take that example of a case study and walk through the ways that the customer executed and found success. So this is, again, a way to really dive in deeper, showcase your expertise a little bit more. I think for the campaign that we did, I think we might have even invited the client on to talk about their success. So in that workshop, so that's another way to, bring in that that client who is going to be able to help sing your praises a little bit for you. Offer an audit or a report to those that request an audit. So again, back to, what kind of, what next step can you give them to keep engaging with you, to move down the pipeline a little bit more in your sales process. And then run your target accounts through your discovery process and present your findings. So for that audit, you might just run through, what's your discovery process in your sales process. Run through that, present your findings in a video follow-up with your target accounts. And then the goal here, of course, is to turn engagement into sales conversations. All right, phase 4, 4 out of 5. We're almost done. Run your target accounts through your discovery process. I think we just said that. Organize your findings. Present it in a formal audit or in a video walkthrough on a landing page specifically designed for them. Again, we've done this. You saw those examples back in the content tactics. Provide them with the various solutions that you offer. Make it easy for them to get the process started. So you're kind of like showing them, this is the process that we go through. This is what it'll be like working with us. And then expedite the process. So the goal is just to frame your brand, your company as the obvious solution to the problem that they're having right now. Phase 5, the last phase is all of the content that you've just created. You've created a lot of video content. You've created your podcast content. You can repurpose all of this to on-demand content. You can chunk it out into short clips for social media. And then identify what content works, what needs improvement, and kind of do an analysis and optimization to be able to run a new campaign. So that is the 5th and final phase of this particular program. I just have to say, I have to give my team props, the creative team at Mojo, for this slide deck. I've seen these slides all day, and I just love this little map. This is my favorite. So great job, design team at Mojo. I love that all of the speakers got to use this deck too. So this is your map. Phase 1, running all the time. You're always creating this content. Always, always, always. Podcast never stops, right? And then this whole thing can be done within just a few months, right? So let's say we start in May, we can be done by September, right? So, and then we can start all over again with an optimized set of a new optimized campaign. So that is the timeline example. Okay, we're ready, right in time for a Q&A, and I would love to hear your questions. What did I skip? What have we not talked about? I think I see one in the chat here. Let's see. You may have already discussed this, or it would take a whole other webinar to answer this question, but how are you measuring engagement? Okay, thank you for that question. So how are we measuring engagement? We are measuring engagement. So we use HubSpot. We also use other tools that you've probably seen throughout the day, you know, with our sponsors. We're measuring engagement through those tools. We are probably looking at LinkedIn data. We're looking at our data in HubSpot. We're seeing, we have our target account list, and we're seeing our target accounts, are they engaging with our content on the website, with our ads, and then we're using those built-in tools in HubSpot. I don't know if that answers your question fully, but it would probably take Mason to be in here answering that question, because that's not on, I'm not on that side of things. I'm on the content creation side. And so I don't see the inner workings of how we're measuring engagement. But I know that we have the tools and technology to do that. It could be a more manual process if you don't have all of those tools. And so that's one of the reasons why with ABM, to do it at scale, you need to have the right tools and technology set up in order to do it effectively. Let's see, we do have one more question here. Podcast is a long-term content strategy. What would be some of the short-term content strategies in ABM other than email or maybe case studies? Because with enterprise sales, more often than not, customers aren't comfortable going live with their info. So case studies aren't exactly feasible. Okay, so so we're talking about long-term content strategies with podcasts. What are some short-term content strategies in ABM? I don't know how many short-term strategies, content strategies there are. I know that ABM is, from my understanding, it is more of a long game, right? We've talked all day about how ABM is a marathon and not a sprint. So short-term content strategies, I'm thinking of, like when you talk about long-term, a podcast is a big investment, right? So you have to invite your guests, you have to create the content. It takes a long time, right? So yes, emails, an email campaign would be a lot easier to do than a podcast. So targeted ads are typically where we see people jump into ABM. It's if you have some content that you can drive your target accounts to, you can set up a personalized, a highly targeted landing page with an offer. Maybe you already have some case studies. Maybe you already have an e-guide that you can really, repurpose into something that is for this specific set of accounts. That's going to be a lot faster. It's kind of a narrow play, right? But that's going to be a lot faster if you have those targeted ads, sending them to that piece of content. That's going to be probably easier to do than the podcast. So hope that answers your question. Let's see, all content, I have several questions here. All content should be ABM focused. What's the recommended proportion? Let's see, I know it's 3:45 my time, 3:46. I think we have other sessions. I am going to try to answer these offline perhaps, because I think we have to get wrapped up here. So I will try to answer these in some way to get those answers to you guys after the event. Thank you so much for joining me today. Sorry I didn't get to all your questions, but it was a pleasure to talk to y'all today. So thank you so much, and enjoy the rest of the day. Bye.